What if I told you that the anxiety you have been trying so hard to get rid of may not actually be your biggest problem? What if the real problem is that your brain has become incredibly efficient at creating it? Think about this. Two people receive the exact same text, that is, can we talk tomorrow? One barely notices it. The other spends the entire night imagining the worst. Same message, completely different experience. Why? What if the difference isn't personality or weakness, but years of invisible mental practice? Today I'm going to show you how your brain may have trained itself to expect danger, and more importantly, how that training can begin to change. Welcome, I'm Adil Jivani, a psychologist and emotional intelligence master coach and trainer. I work with individuals through one-on-one confidential sessions and with groups through workshops in person in Abu Dhabi and online worldwide. This channel, Tranquility Pursuit Coaching, is built on one belief: that real performance in life and work starts with a strong mental and emotional foundation. Because when that's in place, everything else follows. Let's get started with today's experience. Have you ever noticed that sometimes nothing dangerous is happening, yet your body feels as though something is about to go wrong? A delayed reply, an unexpected phone call, a meeting with the boss which is happening tomorrow. And suddenly your mind begins writing the stories that haven't even happened. Most people call this anxiety, but what if it's something else? What if your brain has simply become incredibly good at practicing anxiety? Because here is something fascinating. Your brain doesn't become what you want. It becomes what you repeatedly practice. Let me repeat. Your brain doesn't become what you want. It becomes what you repeatedly practice. And if that's true, then maybe you are not trapped. Maybe you are trained. Let's explore that together. The brain is extraordinary. Every experience, every repeated thought, every emotional reaction leaves behind a tiny neurological footprint. Neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity, the brain's remarkable ability to reorganize itself by strengthening the neural pathways it uses most often. Think of your mind like a grassy field. Walk across it once and nothing changes. Walk the same path every single day and eventually a trail, that path appears. Your thoughts work exactly the same way. Every time your mind jumps to worst case scenario, every time you avoid discomfort, every time you replay the same fearful story, your brain quietly says, this pathway must be important. So it makes that pathway easier to travel next time. Not because it's helping you, but because it's learning from you. Can I ask you something? When was the last time anxiety actually protected you instead of simply exhausting you? You don't have to answer me. Answer yourself. Now here's the question that would change the way you think about anxiety. Who is training your brain? You or your environment? From the moment we wake up, notifications compete for our attention. News headlines amplify the uncertainty. Social media invites comparison. Work follows us home. Even the moments of silence are often filled with another screen. Day after day, your nervous system receives the same message, and the message is, stay alert, something might happen. Slowly, your brain stops asking, is this actually dangerous? Instead, it begins assuming that uncertainty must mean danger, which means your brain is getting trained as if uncertainty is equal to danger. So a delayed message feels like rejection, a mistake feels like failure, an unanswered question feels like a catastrophe, meaning the mind may imagine the worst and turn a simple lack of information into a major crisis. Not because these things are true, but because your brain has rehearsed that response too many times. Imagine waking up tomorrow with the same life, the same job, the same family, the same responsibilities, but a brain that no longer treated every uncertainty like an emergency. How different would your day actually feel? Most people believe the solution is to fight anxiety, but fighting often strengthens what we are trying to escape. Let me help you understand with a quick exercise. Don't think about a green apple. I said don't. What happened? You pictured it, right? Didn't you? The harder you tried not to think about it, the more your mind focused on it. So what's the solution then? Instead of fighting, the solution is to be curious. The next time when the anxiety appears, take a pause. Not to suppress it, not to judge it, simply notice it. And ask yourself, what triggered this? What story is my mind creating? Is this the fact or the prediction? That small pause may seem insignificant, but the neuroscience tells us that this moment matters, and this is very important between the trigger and your response. Your brain is waiting for the instruction. Every time you choose awareness instead of autopilot, you are beginning to carve a new pathway, meaning you are starting to develop a new way of thinking, behaving, and responding. And of course, not overnight, but one repetition at a time. Here's something I hope you will remember long after this video ends. The brain doesn't change because of one life-changing moment. It changes because of ordinary moments repeated consistently. Every time you breathe before reacting, every time you take one small step instead of avoiding, every time you replace self-criticism with self-compassion, you are teaching your brain something new. Not through motivation, through repetition. Resilience isn't a personality trait. It's a neural habit. Mental toughness isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision made repeatedly to move forward even while the fear is present. Before you leave, I would like to leave you with one question. You don't have to answer it now. Maybe think about it tonight. If your brain becomes what you repeatedly practice, what are you teaching it every single day? Perhaps the goal was never to eliminate anxiety, because the uncertainty is part of human being. Perhaps the real goal is to build a brain that meets the uncertainty with curiosity instead of catastrophe, with clarity instead of chaos, with confidence instead of fear. If today's conversation helped you see yourself a little differently, don't just leave with another piece of information. Leave with one small decision, one thought to question, one habit to interrupt, one new pathway to begin. Because lasting change doesn't start with a perfect life. It starts with one different repetition. And sometimes one different repetition is enough to change the direction of an entire life. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.